Oh my gosh, that looks like a proper disaster. I've never done this before, but let's give it a go. Such an amateur job, isn't it?
Poor old Sammy seems to have sustained some sort of injury. Adding the class into Gironde.
Sammy's looking anxious too. What are you saying there, Sammy?
Hi, I'm Daz and she's B, and we're on a 12-week road trip round France with our boys and our greyhound Sammy. Join us as we explore the history, beauty and fun we can squeeze in while getting to grips with the challenges of working and home educating on the road as a family in France, living a life less ordinary as we escape in the motorhome.
Good morning. This is from outside the motorhome, and this is our third day in the same place by Parentis-en-Bron, by the lake. Yeah, it's the 14th of July, which is a significant day here in France. It's France's biggest holiday. It is Bastille Day, and the significance of Bastille is the breakdown of the monarchy, and it marks the date in which the Bastille prison, which was a prison for all those that did not agree with the monarchy and caused issues and problems. It was when they stormed it, and it was the start of the French Revolution. There are huge celebrations. It's a bank holiday for a start, so everybody's on holiday, and it is a huge celebration across France, particularly in Paris and in other major cities, but most other towns and cities also have fireworks. Now, we couldn't understand why last night, way after 11 p.m, there was still loud music and celebrations, and then this morning when I took Sammy out on a dog walk, you could kind of see evidence of those celebrations that have been going on. As well as it being a public holiday, lots of people celebrate the night before so they can choose today to sleep in. So this afternoon, after an hour in the lake, we're hoping to move to a beachside location to take advantage of the breeze, and we'll hopefully see some fireworks this evening, but it does mean another late night. But I think it's important for us not to miss the 14th of July and the celebrations that take place. I think it's important for the children to see. Poor old Sammy seems to have sustained some sort of injury on his paw. I've given it a bathe. I've put some arnica cream on it, and I've also put a little bandage around a cut that I can see. We're still in a bit of limbo because of my 13-year-old's arm. We're hoping that we've got an appointment definitely booked for Arcachon at the end of July so that he can have another x-ray, and then the cast can come off, and then we can continue doing what we wanted to do in the first place. But we are going to try it and see if we can get an appointment in Toulouse as well, because it might make more sense with where we're travelling. One thing that we did observe, and we have read about since I saw that bullfighting poster and then bullfighting arena, is that there is a big Basque French influence down in the southwest region of France. In fact, the Basque French have got their own flag, and it is a tradition that they partake in these things. And apparently, according to what I've read, 1,000 bulls are killed each year because of this blood sport that takes place. So I feel a little bit uncomfortable about being in this region, because I know that we're going to see perhaps fields of these cows and animals being bred for the particular sport. Yes, we've since learnt about the course landaise, which involves horned cows, not bulls, whereby a participant dodges and leaps out of the way of the running animal. So we've just been treating Sammy's foot again. We think there's something maybe lodged inside his paw. We're going to keep on dousing it and bathing it in water. It could be a corn, but it's very, very small, just looks like a little black dot. But whatever we'll do, we'll keep paying attention to it and making sure that he is comfortable. Interestingly, I've had my own little bit of Botox on my forehead. I don't know if you can see it there. I was stung last night. I said if only I'd gone a little bit further into the centre of my forehead there, it might have got rid of my wrinkles for a few days. But no, I've got it to the side, so it just looks like I've had an incident with an iron bar or something. We made it to sunny Mimizan, a very popular tourist destination with 6 named plages of fine pale sand and some excellent Atlantic surf, but not today. The buzzy atmosphere was at its summer peak when we visited, with an array of touristy shops and eateries. And of course, the kids had to sample the churros, and it was nice to watch them being made too.
They're so big!
Whoa!
No way they actually look that big.
Wow! Oh my gosh! Mango and raspberry. A big big selection of no milk ice cream. So we've had a lazy stroll around Mimizan this afternoon. We did some lake loving and we decided to move house or move motorhome after 3 days in the same place. So Mimizan's super busy on the 14th of July, Bastille Day, and we're here because we think there are going to be fireworks tonight. So it's about 20 to 8 now. We're going back to the motorhome. It's beautifully breezy here and Sammy's got it nicely ventilated in there. I'm going to cook a little something for dinner, and then when the sun goes down we'll come back out again and see what's happening with the celebrations. Apparently the sand dunes on the west coast move inwards due to the maritime wind. There's an average annual displacement of around 5 metres, and Mimizan was a port town until the sand dunes blocked the access.
So there's creatures coming in through the window. Oh my gosh, that looks like a proper disaster.
So from the outside, looks even worse. Let's take a closer look. Such an amateur job, isn't it? I've got no choice at the moment. I'll go into detail another time, but I've been sent a list of Trigano dealerships across France. Sadly, none of them are in the departments we're currently in, because there's mainly pine forest and sand around here. So as we travel across France, we might be able to get something ordered, but as the guy pointed out, the parts will come from Italy, and of course for a couple of weeks, or all of August in Italy, everything shuts down. So if the parts are ready by September, we'll be back in the UK by then. Whereupon I think I'll probably order it there. Anyway, let's get this taped up.
People on both sides. Hundreds and hundreds.
There was a real party atmosphere, but as you can see, the storms were coming. I'm sure you can't see me, but we had a great time watching the Bastille Day fireworks. It's so dark, but it's interesting watching a thunderstorm in the distance on the other side of the big saltwater lake.
Well, it's the weekend, but since it's raining outside, rather than relaxing, I'm going to try and fix this. So about 10 days ago, this seatbelt decided to undo itself, and looking at the end of it, it doesn't look torn, so I'm going to have a stab at trying to fix that back onto the recoil system down below. I've stripped the chair back and taken off this little cover plate from here. Here's the one that is working on this side, and here's our little spring system here. So let's see if I can repair this, because it'd be useful to have this seatbelt working again. I've never done this before, but let's give it a go. So what I've figured out so far, if I pull on the one that is working, I say that and then it was working. Take two. Okay, so if I pull this down, you'll see down here this one slowly unwinding, and I counted 11 revolutions, so I know how many to wind it up when I finally get to thread it. But finding out online how to thread one of these is quite tricky. As you get to the bottom, you can see the belt going in that side, and then on the other side, I believe the little loop at the end of the belt has some sort of bar going through it to stop it going back through. Now the only thing is, around here and on the floor around here, although it's quite messy, there doesn't appear to be a broken part like a tube or anything else that's come out of the belt. So we either have to improvise or keep searching. One thing I did find when I was searching was this little Wi-Fi card. A little bit of history of Stampy there. Looks like he's been to Belgium at some point.
So I found this stay on Google Maps actually, on just to search for camping car airs. It's cost us about €13 overnight, and for that we've got our services and electric, although down at the front gate the badly translated sign seems to say something about the electric is only for battery charging, but as long as that includes kids' laptop batteries, that's just fine.
Okay, so we've already turned it into a laundrette, adding the class into Gironde, and we are attempting to make our way into the Dordogne for the next 7 or 8 days or so before we have to be at a hospital appointment for our 13-year-old. We're going to take in the best that Dordogne has to offer us, and we're looking forward to exploring the area. But first we're staying here overnight and drying our clothes. Sammy's had his little swollen foot. This morning it looked quite uncomfortable. We've been bathing it in hot salt water, and we've got some arnica cream that we've been putting on it. As the day's gone on, it's got slightly less swollen, and he seems to be walking quite comfortably on it now. We're going to still keep an eye on it, just in case it needs some attention on Monday.
Yeah, sure, no worries. Yep, noted. Oh my gosh, this is going to be fun. Check this out behind me. Oh, probably being pulled along by his dog. So Lee's taken a walk across the bridge over towards the Garonne River, and as it's 7:15, I've been left in charge of making dinner for the kids. Mum might get lost. You never can tell with Google Maps what kind of scale you're on sometimes. Didn't look like a long walk, but you might not see her for the next 2 hours. There she is. Goodbye, tiny bee. Just put it in my pocket. There we go. Right, potato and veg and burgers for the kids.
Burgers?
See if I can manage that. Well, that's nice too. What you can see right behind me there is a swimming lake too, with a nice sandy beach and a cafe that's open there serving drinks and snacks. So as well as the beach ball court here and the kids playground over there, it's not bad for the €12, is it? And we're still about an hour and a half, 2 hours away from some of the best bits of the Dordogne apparently. So that's something to worry about tomorrow. Talking of tomorrow, in that lake, if the weather's good enough, I'm going for another swim.
Santé.
Got hardly anywhere with that seatbelt other than figuring out I need to find some sort of tube to go in the seatbelt to stop it pulling through. So we had a look around Supu in the supermarket before we did the 2-hour drive here, but I couldn't find anything. So that's a tomorrow job, as well as getting all the way into the Dordogne is a tomorrow job.
The kids have finished their food. We're just about to tuck into a pretty simple but actually quite tasty curry. Managed to find some coconut milk, which is easy to come by, as are all pulses and things, so it's quite easy to make a nice vegan curry. Got my standard €3.99 fizzy pop, and Daz has got some beer.
Tonight's video is sponsored by Carl's Krell.
Yes, all individually in Aldi.
Yeah, Aldi's finest.
Questionable quality still, but we're in this really nice location. I managed to take Sammy for a walk along the Garonne River earlier. Alongside the canal there is the river, and it was beautiful, really nice walk. And now we're going to spend the next half an hour discussing where we can find a motorhome air in the Dordogne that is a good base for all the different places that I've highlighted that would be good for our children to explore for the next week, including a child with a broken arm. A really nice vibe around here. Highly recommend this camping air. One of the more expensive ones, but you've got electricity. I'm presuming there's water and waste, so we get to find it. And there are so many different pictures to choose from. You can have a kind of wooded park up like we chose because we didn't explore any further. These ones are a bit of a desired location, and the marina, so you can look out over the lake and the boats. Oh, lashed up car, like bits and pieces all over it.
There's a warning.
The journey from the Gironde to the Dordogne was breathtaking, a bucolic idyll that distracted me from the hair-raising roads. and the Dordogne.
So Bee's getting a proper taste of the single track anxiety here as we've hit our reserve tank and we're cutting across country to get to a petrol station. There were loads just now by Bergerac in the airport. We've wandered into a load of fields and there are none. Hopefully we'll get there in time. Sammy's looking anxious too. What are you saying there, Sammy?
Mamma mia.
Just as we feared.
And it's piggies as well. Piggies, dead piggies, no, save the piggies. Save the piggies. Oh dear, this journey really was getting to me. We were heading for the Grotte de Roffignac in the east of the Dordogne. So we've made it to the caves, these Paleolithic caves in the Dordogne, and it is very hilly. Some very interesting roads to drive on. I'm not quite sure if it was a good idea me doing that leg of the journey, but we're in the deepest of Dordogne now. Quite excited because it doesn't look that busy. I was expecting it to be super touristy because the other set of caves that we were interested in going to were completely fully booked throughout July. This place doesn't do phone ticketing, this place doesn't do online ticketing. You actually have to turn up there and then you may have to go away again and wait for your time. So we're fully expecting that, but actually looking around, it's not that busy. Hooray, we got our tickets. And not only do we have our tickets, we've also got a tour in about 10 minutes time. And another motorhome, rather fancy one, is parked next to our interesting one. It's all on this side, isn't it? You need a facelift on this side. Why are there so many caves in the Dordogne? And it's because, naturally, over time, all of the rivers created these cave systems in this region, and it was like a natural shelter for all the cave people. Yeah, we were running late and we were the last on the train that takes you to the depths of the cave systems carved out by ancient rivers and inhabited by prehistoric man and cave bears. There are masses of scratches to prove it. Excuse the footage, low light and rubbish phone cameras don't quite cut it.
Get me in shot. Hold your arm out.
I'm trying. You can do it instead. They're bullying me because I said €50 coin. Oh my gosh, we just found our own cave paintings. We need to carbon date them. So I couldn't quite believe that it was 13 to 14,000 years old, those cave engravings.
And that made them some of the more recent ones, apparently.
It is the most recent era of the Paleolithic times. It's like Upper Paleolithic, is that right?
Yes.
But they said it isn't strictly painting. They had drawings where they were using this, what was like a prehistoric crayon. I can't remember, it was manganese or something, that's it. It was some sort of manganese oxide that they'd pick up and find. It was in abundance. And then there were some mammoths and a few other things drawn with this crayon. But the rest of it was just engravings and scratchings. They were using their fingers, they were using sticks. And they were just masses and masses of drawings. There's a few things that I picked up from the guide that we held. And by the way, oh, Phoenix, wait! Us having a prehistory meeting in the motorhome after Phoenix opened his knee up again. I said you could see graffiti in there, which was apparently could have been anything from the 16th century onwards, and people using their candles to draw their initials and write their names and things. I was thinking, well, there could be the same thing for these paintings as well, but apparently there's layers of calcite that were on top of paintings that had formed prehistory, so that's how they can kind of date it. But there's lots of questions, more questions than answers. For instance, why didn't they ever draw themselves? And apparently Lascaux, if you want to go to Lascaux caves, you won't see the actual pictures, you'll see a facsimile or a copy of the cave paintings because they've been damaged from being exposed to humankind, I suppose, and light.
Humidity and elements, yeah.
Exactly, humidity and elements and so on. But Lascaux, there are apparently caricature human being pictures.
There's no birds, there's no fish, there's no small mammals. They're almost like trophy drawings. Like, what's the biggest thing you could draw? A mammoth. Let's draw some mammoths. Next biggest thing, a rhino. Next biggest thing, a horse.
So they reckon that the cave paintings and engravings that we just saw would have been created over a space of weeks, months or years, and created by no more than 5 people that all had this kind of creative vision. So it was almost like a passing by type thing. So Yeah, I thought that was a really interesting fact as well. These weren't people that just stayed there over time and did this traditional painting. It was people passing through.
And bear caves too.
Little pits where the bears had sort of rested, and everywhere were these scratches from the bear claws. And I did manage to try and take a video of them before I got told off.
And although it seems obvious now, at the time it didn't, they said that the bears long died out before any humans entered those caves. So the two never would have met, but equally there were no bear bones have never been found in it.
No. All very interesting. After a nice dose of prehistory, it was time to head to a park up. We never got bored of this landscape of jutting rocks flanking the winding rows. It was quite reminiscent of Wales. Anyway, back to that park up, we found ourselves in a very quaint village called Le Bugue. Here you'll find a pretty market town, the Vizier River, and you're a short walk from the phenomenal Périgord Noir Aquarium. So what is this Périgord? Well, it's the name for the Dordogne. They're kind of one and the same. And there are 4 different regions to the Périgord. And the Noir is in the southeast, named for the dark oak forests. And the Pourpre, or I'm guessing that's purple, in the southwest for the vineyards. And the central area of the Dordogne is the Périgord Blanc, and that's for the chalk. And we've got the Périgord Vert, and that's named due to the chestnut and oak forests in the north. And as all tourists know, this sightseeing is absolutely exhausting, so refreshment was definitely required. Well, it was a bit of a wild card coming to Dordogne, but I'm really, really glad we did it, and it's only day 1.
Well, while B endures yet another cold shower in there, I'm going to show you how I turn my bed into an office in just a few seconds.
That's it, dear. Don't forget to look busy. Well, that's it for today, folks. And if you fancy seeing more of our adventures, feel free to hit the like button, subscribe to our little corner of the YouTube, and ding that bell so that you never miss a video.